to the inaugural episode of Overly Committed. I am your host, Zach Lowell, and I am extremely ecstatic to have you guys here with me, going on this journey with me. Hopefully, this is just the first of many, many more to come. First and foremost, for those of you watching on video, I want to go ahead and apologize now. I talk with my hands. It's the Italian in me. You're going to see my hands flying at you. Want to go ahead and apologize up front. So before we dive into the meat and the potatoes of why you guys are here, first say a little bit about myself. Obviously, I'm Zach. Hello. Hi, how are you guys? It's a pleasure to meet you all. Like most sports fans, for as long as I can remember, I've loved sports since I was a toddler, walking around in diapers, carrying around a little plastic baseball bat with a little baseball, or shooting baskets into that little plastic basketball hoop with the orange rim and that big blue stand. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everybody had one of those. I've always loved sports, and I always thought that I was going to be a professional athlete. I thought I was going to be a pro football player for at least the first 10 years of my life. Then I was going to be a pro golfer, a pro basketball player, a professional swimmer. I was going to be a professional in all sports because as a kid, I was pretty cool. Okay, you didn't know me, but take my word, I was a really cool kid. But as we get a little bit older, I get a little bit shorter, a little bit slower, a little bit fatter. You realize maybe I'm not going to be a professional athlete. I guess it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but I always wanted to stay in the realm of sports, whether that be a physical therapist for a sports team, whether that be sports broadcasting, journalism, whether that be an assistant or a head coach. I always wanted to be involved with sports. And this, for me, is a way to kind of have that outlet still. I am still the normal. I work a 9 to 5 like everybody else out there. I'm not some crazy insider who talks to LeBron James on the daily or knows Ray Lewis personally. I'm a regular guy, and I spend most of my days driving around. I'm listening to podcasts, sports podcasts. I'm listening to AM radio, ESPN radio, all of this fun stuff. And especially nowadays in this age of social media, a lot of these sports shows are talking about, did you see that athlete tweeted out this, or he liked that Twitter post, or did you see that this athlete posted a picture on a boat with this woman and it was in the off season, so he's not training hard enough? Or, oh my God, did you see that Baker Mayfield was playing Fortnite at 10 o'clock p.m. during the off season with an Oakland Raiders player? Look, who cares? Okay, we don't care. I don't care about who liked what tweet, who posted what picture. I am overly committed to giving you guys the best, real, raw sports opinions of my own, at least, that actually matter, things we actually care about, things that actually make an impact on what happens, not who's playing video games with who and who was doing what with their vacation time. And oh my gosh, Tom Brady's jumping off a waterfall in the offseason. Is that smart for him? Tom Brady's a grown man. Let him do what he wants. Most of these kids are in their young 20s. They love social media. They play games. We're looking way too much into it. That's not for me. So if you're tired of this overly scripted, this talking about sports subjects that we don't care about, if you're tired of hearing the same thing over and over on repeat from these NBA and NFL insiders, I am here to give you guys the opinion, the perspective of an overly committed fan who's committed to all the wrong and worst teams. Trust me, we'll get into it. But I want to give you guys my opinion from the regular guy who works that 9 to 5, who just has a true passion and a love for sports. I want to give you guys my honest opinion on a multitude of sports subjects. And look, I know we're going to disagree. That's what's fun about sports. We're going to disagree on who the best player is, at what position, or what statistics really matter. That's what's fun. I welcome that disagreement. I challenge disagreement. I want to have these debates, and I'm really looking forward to it. So with that being said, this is something I've always wanted to do. This is something I've had a dream of. I've always wanted to do something just like this, and with the help and support of some friends, some family, some loved ones, I am finally able to share this with the world. So if you guys would like to join me in this adventure, I would love to have you guys. So let's get it started with the very first episode of Overly Committed. If you guys know me, I love all sports. I love ping pong. I love tennis. I watch soccer. I watch golf. I watch baseball, hockey, everything. But my favorite by far is football. I think most Americans would agree that football is our favorite sport. So I'm in the majority there. I love me some football. So let's start out with the very first episode, only right if we talk about the biggest football game of the year, the Super Bowl. I'm sure most of you guys saw it. At this point, it's a national holiday. People who don't even care about football show up to these Super Bowl parties just to eat the food, drink the beer, and then they have conversations in the corner, don't even watch the game. And by the way, if you're one of those people and you're at my Super Bowl party, please stay away from me. I don't care about your cat. I'm not there to eat the snacks and drink the beer. I'm trying to watch the game. Please. So with that being said, the game was a real thriller if you missed it. 13-3 was the final. Pretty low scoring game, I think, from what people thought was going to happen, especially with that Rams offense. People expected them to go in and throw up 30 points. Of course, that old guy in the hoodie isn't going to let that happen, meaning Bill Belichick. He's going to obviously have something up his hoodie sleeve. But it wouldn't matter. I did think the Rams were going to put up more points, but if the Rams put up 24, I would have said the Patriots are putting up 27. Rams put up 30, Patriots 33. The Patriots are always playing in close games, especially in the Super Bowl. This 10-point margin, 13-3, is the biggest margin of differential for a Super Bowl win or loss ever for the Patriots. Every game is very, very close. So even this 10 points was kind of a blowout in Patriot standards because they always play it really close. But in this case right here, it wasn't so much a battle of the quarterbacks there. You had Tom Brady, who in my opinion is the GOAT. We'll talk about that. But he was 21 for 35, 262 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Compare that to Jared Goff, who was 19 for 38, 229 yards, also threw an interception, but with no TDs. A lot of people, when Tom Brady came out that opening drive, he threw a very bad errant pass, ended up being intercepted in the very beginning of the game. People were like, oh my gosh, is Tom Brady falling off a cliff? You mean to tell me the GOAT is falling off of a cliff in the middle of the biggest game of the season in the Super Bowl, where that man thrives? He's not falling off of no cliff, okay? Jared Goff's interception, however, did come at the end of the game, pretty much sealed the fate for the Rams, ended up giving the Patriots that Super Bowl. But look, even though Goff, you watched the game, he looked off. He didn't look like himself. Him and Sean McVay have been together for 2 seasons. They went to the playoffs last year, made it to the Super Bowl this year. Those two are going to be just fine. Sean McVay is a great head coach. But if I have to criticize him for anything, you had Todd Gurley, that beast back there. Broken foot or not, whatever the excuse is, he had 10 carries for 35 yards. That is not enough for your best player on offense. You need to feed that man tosses, dives, screen passes. You got to shut the play action. You got to do something to get your best player involved. C.J. Anderson had 7 carries for 22 yards, and Sean McVay came out before the game and said, I plan on splitting the workload between C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley. Why? C.J. Anderson played for 3 different teams last year. You have Todd Gurley, who's arguably the best running back in the NFL. You feed that man. I don't care if his foot's hurt. This is the biggest game of his career, and if you were to ask him, hey, are you good to go 100%? Can we feed you the ball 40 times in the Super Bowl? Todd Gurley is going to say, you're damn right you can feed me the ball 40 times in the Super Bowl. I'm going to carry this team. That's what should happen. It's not what happened. That's the reason why they lost. Obviously, that Rams defense, Aaron Donald, Sue, Joyner, Peters, Talib, they played great. We knew they were going to play great. If you would have told me the Rams were going to hold the New England Patriots to 3 points in the first half, 13 points in the entire game, I would have said the Rams are probably going to win that game. Of course, that's not what happened. The good old man in the hoodie and good old number 12 did it again. This is now their 6th Super Bowl win. They're 6-3 in Super Bowls. They lost twice to the New York Giants because all heroes don't wear capes. Thank you very much, Eli Manning. He stole 2 Super Bowls from them. And then obviously last year with the backup boy wonder, great quarterback, but maybe not so good, starter, but not a starter, Nick Foles. Don't know how you want to classify that. That's their only 3 losses. They've won 6 other ones. These two together are the first tandem head coach quarterback to ever win 6 Super Bowls. Been to 9. They are the GOAT. And you're looking at head coaches, you're looking at quarterbacks, football players. Bill Belichick is the greatest of all time when it comes to coaching. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time when it comes to football players, quarterbacks. Whatever you want to throw at me, let's have that debate. He is the GOAT, okay? I just had to go look up some fun stats for Tom Brady because he's so good. I just had to see for myself some of the things that he's done since coming into the league. We knew he was drafted 199th overall in 2000. Came into the league. His first season as a starter, which was his 2nd season, he replaces Drew Bledsoe, goes for the greatest show on turf against the Rams. You guys remember that. Ended up winning only 2 quarterbacks to ever win their very first season as a starter. He's absolutely amazing. The guy's got 3 league MVPs, 4 Super Bowl MVPs. When it comes to the playoffs, he has 73 passing touchdowns. Nobody in the NFL history has more than 45. Are you kidding me? Tom Brady is leagues and miles and heads above everybody. You can say, yeah, he's played more games, but he gets them there. Okay, when he gets there, he performs. New England in the last 17 years has won 16 division titles in the last 17 years. That's absolutely insane. There's only 1 year back in 2002 where they didn't win it and they came in 2nd place. They are great. Tom Brady is great. This is nothing but built his legacy. He's now the MJ with 6 rings of the NFL. So congrats, Tom Brady. Hats off to you. You are the GOAT, in my opinion. And then Bill Belichick. I think this is the one that's less of a debate. Belichick is the greatest, and I am happy to say that I've seen him coach. I've seen him play. This guy does it every year. You look at the Super Bowl this year. that Rams team was more talented. All the Patriots had, the Patriots had one All-Pro, and it wasn't even Tom Brady. It wasn't Gronk. It wasn't Edelman. Their only All-Pro was Stephon Gilmore, the cornerback. These guys had a beat-up Edelman. They had an old Tom Brady, a beat-up Gronkowski. They had Sonny Michel, a rookie running back, and you still deep down, you knew the Patriots were going to win that Super Bowl because they had number 12 and they had that old guy in the hoodie. At this point, Bill Belichick, the third most winningest coach of all time. You got Don Shula with 328 regular season wins, and then George Halas had 318. Belichick's behind him at 262. That's regular season only. You include the postseason, it still goes Don Shula, George Halas, and then Bill Belichick. But even somebody like Don Shula, who has won more games than any coach in the history of the NFL, was 2-6 in Super Bowls. 2-6, which isn't very good. Bill Belichick is 6-3, and he does it with no talent and does it year after year in a league where winning year after year is not supposed to happen. The NFL is set up so that the good teams fall and the bad teams get good draft picks and build their way up. How many times do we see worst to first in divisions in the NFL? Except for in the AFC East. Because that is Belichick and that is Brady's division. And they are the GOATs. They've been doing it, and they're going to continue to win the division for as long as those two are around. So let's just get used to seeing Tom Brady there. He's maybe 45 and still doing this thing. So I don't know what people are talking about the cliff. It's just not going to happen. Okay, Tom Brady will quit when Tom Brady dang sure wants to quit. So with that being said, a little football for us. I wanted to talk about some basketball here. Now, if you guys know me, again, I am a biased sports fan. I'm not going to try to hide my fandom. I'm just like you. I'm the normal obsessive sports fan. And all my sports teams suck. Obviously, I'm an Oakland Raiders fan living in Denver. Ask me how that goes. I'll tell you not very well. But I'm also a New York Knicks fan. All of my other sports teams, aside from the Oakland Raiders, they're all going to reside in New York. Whether that be the Knicks, the New York Rangers, the New York Mets, Syracuse for college. I'm a New York fan. Maybe one day we'll get into why that is. But trust me, I'm not a happy New York fan by any means. We're not very good. And so with that being said, I really, really wanted to spend some time just really quickly talking about Kristaps Porzingis and what just happened here. And so Kristaps Porzingis, again, I am a diehard Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan my entire life, okay? John Starks, not very popular, probably my favorite player of all time. You still love John Starks. But Porzingis came out about 2 weeks ago and came to New York front office and said, hey, New York, I'd be happier playing elsewhere. I want to be traded. It must have been 2 hours later. He was out the door. We sent him off to Dallas. Handful of draft picks, got some players. If you don't want to be here, fine. Get out. We don't want you here. I understand. But you know what, Kristaps? What you did right there absolutely kills us as New York fans, because you have to understand, first and foremost, when you're talking about the New York Knicks, we're not talking about one season at a time. I am talking about the New York Knicks from a prism of 20 years of misery. We have been bad for 20 straight years. We haven't been successful. We haven't won. We're angry fans. We just want something good to happen. Since the year 2000, we've had four winning seasons since 2000, and that was in the year 2000, and then 2010, 11, and 12 when we had the Carmelo and Stoudemire years. Other than that, we lose every single year. Okay, so we finally draft Kristaps. Yes, Kristaps, we booed you. We boo everybody. Welcome to New York, baby. We boo everybody. But we fell in love with you, man. The unicorn, the 6 god, 3-6 Latvia. That was my guy. When I found out he got traded, it broke my heart. Okay, he's a career 43% shooter. But when you look at Kristaps Porzingis, the actual player, we supported him, and he's saying that we don't like the direction the Knicks are going in because it feels like they're tanking. They're not taking this seriously. You're damn right. Where have you been? You've been out for all the season. You have yet to finish a full season of basketball. A full 82 season, you've yet to finish one. Second year, you played 66 games. Third year, you played 48 games. You're not playing at all this year, and you have the right to say you don't like the direction that we're going in. You're our number 1 overall pick. How about you get yourself on the court and help us get some wins? If you want us to be better, you have to be here. You can't say, I don't like the direction you guys are going in when you're not on the court. Yeah, we're sucking because our best player is always hurt. I get it. The Knicks, last time they won a title was 1972-73, back when Walt Frazier was the guy. You get way back when, forever ago. We're just looking for some type of success, and we found that with Kristaps. He was our shining beacon of hope. We loved that guy. We brought him in like one of our own. We spent all those years with Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, John Starks, Charlie Ward. We were losing all those years. People talk about we hit big on Patrick Ewing in 1985 and we got him out of Georgetown. Oh my God, we got Patrick Ewing. That's great. We didn't win. We got a great player, but we didn't win. We just want to win. We're one of the worst managed teams in all of professional sports. We are a laughingstock, and I'm talking about NFL, hockey, I'm talking about NBA, every sport, professional sport. The Knicks are one of the worst organized, worst managed teams in the history of forever. And we're one of the biggest franchises. The Knicks are one of the biggest. People want to come to play at the Mecca. It's the Mecca. And nobody wants to come there. We can't get anybody to sign there. Now, look, I do understand that, by signing Kristaps Porzingis, we're opening up some free agent. We have 2 supermax slots next year, and it's going to be a big year for free agency. Just going through real quick, looking at the free agents, you got Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Kemba Walker, DeMarcus Cousins, Jimmy Butler, Nikolai Vukovic, Marc Gasol, Julius Randle, Al Horford, Derrick Rose, JJ Redick. Tobias Harris is going to be a free agent, even though he just got traded to Philly, who I think is a great fit there. I think Tobias Harris is going to be the backup in case Jimmy Butler does choose to go somewhere, which I think Jimmy Butler is going to go somewhere. They now have Tobias Harris, who's having a great year. He's going to fill in just fine. So we have a lot of free agents. Now we have 2 open slots, so we can go out and get some free agents. Who are we going to pair these free agents up with? Nobody wants to come to New York because we don't have anybody. We've traded away our best, but we don't have Porzingis. They come play with Kevin Knox. He looks like a promising young rookie, sure, but he's not an all-star. He's not going to attract anybody. So we have these 2 open spots, but what are we going to do with it? That's the problem. I hear a lot of people talking about Kevin Durant's probably coming to the Knicks. And you know what, personally, I don't want Kevin Durant. I have very strong feelings with Kevin Durant, but he's emotional, he's sensitive. He gets into fights on Instagram with random kids who are probably 12 years old, just behind the computer typing away, and he wants to fire back, and he's always yelling at the media. You bring that hypersensitive guy to New York, to the Mecca, where we demand greatness, and when you don't give it to us, we will run you out of town. You're going to bring that sensitive guy to that media? Yeah, Kevin Durant's not a good fit. You want me to give you my 2 best guesses for who's going to be playing in New York next year? I would say it's going to be Kyrie Irving. He's had many links, many ties. You've heard many rumors about Kyrie Irving wanting to go to New York. We have the room. Don't have the point guard. Let's go ahead and go get Kyrie Irving. I think he'll be there. And then if I had to give you my second guy, I think we're going to go get Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler fits. He's got that heart. He's got that grit. He's a defender. He's a 2-way player. I think if you had to say, Zach, who are the 2 people that you think the Knicks are going to get this year? We're going to get Kyrie Irving, we're going to go ahead and get Jimmy Butler. Those are the 2, at least, that I think that we're going to go ahead and get. So it makes sense. I understand why the Knicks had to get rid of a guy who didn't want to be in New York, but Kristaps, get out of here, okay? We supported you through all your injuries, all your fiascos. I get it. Phil Jackson was a mess. I understand. We supported you through everything. And then you've been hurt, and you want to come out and say you don't like the direction of our franchise, yet you haven't been playing. You are the cornerstone of our franchise, and you're not here. So, yes, we're losing because you're absent. How about you show up? Maybe we'll get some wins. Hurts me, though. Porzingis. Love that guy. Love 3-6 Latvia. I wish him the best. But, man, if I were to tell you that I wasn't hurt when I saw that, that would be a lie. I was really devastated when I saw that. All right. Wrapping up. This is actually a lot of fun. Hope you guys got a chance to enjoy a little bit. Some early structure here. I'm sure some things are going to change, but the last thing that I want to do, and I think I'm going to do with most of these episodes of Overly Committed here, I'm going to call this my Committed to Unscripted. Committed to Unscripted. And what I mean by that is I don't have any notes. I don't have anything written down. I don't have statistics pulled up. My computer over here is shut. I don't have anything written down in front of me. I'm just going to talk directly to you. Committed to Unscripted basically means I want to give you these last couple of minutes, and I want to give you the raw emotion of how I feel about a certain thing, whether that be somebody, a team close to me, a sporting event, something that's happened that I saw, something that touches me a certain way, makes me feel a certain way. I want to give you guys my raw, unscripted emotion, how I feel about that. And if you know me, then you know exactly where I'm going. And if you don't know me, this is your first time listening to me, just know that this is the biggest piece of my sports heart. And that's going to be the Oakland Raiders. We're talking about the Oakland Raiders, and I'm only going to spend a couple minutes on this because I'm sure as the episodes go on, I will always have something to say about my disgusting franchise known as the Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders. First and foremost, I want to start out by saying, again, no notes here, but I was born in Las Vegas. I was raised in Las Vegas, spent 16 years in Las Vegas before I moved here to Denver. And again, I've been a Raider fan my entire life. So if the Raiders were going to move anywhere, if they were to move to Vegas, if any place, I love that they're in Vegas. I'm from there. I would still support them. No matter where the dang Raiders went, I would support them. Even if there were talks of San Antonio and Texas last year, I'll follow my Raiders wherever they go. That's my heart. That's my soul. With that being said, this last year of football for me, ladies and gentlemen, has been the worst season I have ever endured in my life. Now, I'm not a super old guy. I'm in my late 20s. I've been a Raiders fan my entire life, and I've seen some serious downs. Never been as disappointed with the football season as I was this year. I didn't even watch football this year. By week 5, I wasn't even watching the Raiders play. I was a fan for whoever else wanted a fan because I couldn't stomach it anymore. We had been bad. People know, obviously, the Raiders have been bad for so long. We're a terrible, terrible, terrible team. We've been bad for years. I wasn't around and alive in the John Madden days, the Howie Longs, the Ken Stablers, the Marcus Allen. I wasn't around for the Ghost to the Post. Okay, I wasn't here for that. So all I know with the Raiders is turmoil and just a terrible franchise. It was 2001 when we had John Gruden. It was 2000 we had John Gruden. We traded him to the Bucks for a pick. And then the roster that John Gruden constructed is who we then went to the Super Bowl in 2001 with. We went ahead and we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was being coached by John Gruden, who constructed that Raiders roster. He knew our ins, our outs, our strengths, our weaknesses. He made that roster and then went to the Bucks. The Bucks killed us by 30, 40 points in the Super Bowl. And we've been terrible ever since. That was, as far as success, the most success I've ever seen my Raiders have, and that was getting blown out by our former head coach. You fast forward somewhat 20 years later, we're still terrible, but these last, 3 years ago, we were looking like a dang good team. We had a good young core. I really loved Jack Del Rio. I was a huge fan of him. I was a huge fan of Bill Musgrave. I think that we had all the pieces in place. We had the young Khalil Mack. We had a good, promising young quarterback, Derek Carr. Amari Cooper was looking phenomenal. And if you remember 2 years ago, back before Derek Carr broke his leg in Indianapolis going to that final game of the season, people were talking about Derek Carr was an MVP candidate. We were going on a 12-win season. We were supposed to make some noise in the playoffs before Derek Carr got hurt, and then you lead up into it, and we're going into the next year. People are talking about the Raiders are going to be the team to beat. They're Super Bowl contenders. And it was an off year. Our offensive line did not play well. Amari Cooper didn't play particularly well. Lots of drop passes. Michael Crabtree actually played phenomenally. Too bad we got rid of him too. Defense, secondary has been a laughing stock for years now. We have so many holes on defense. But then you look at this year, we got rid of Jack Del Rio. We get rid of Bill Musgrave. We bring in John Gruden. John Gruden comes in, and like most people, I'm excited. The last time we had Chucky in here, again, he created a team that took us to the Super Bowl. He's been on this Monday Night Quarterback. He does all these shows on ESPN. He sounds smart. He knows what he's talking about. Look, I think he's a great guy. I love his fiery personality. I think if you're a Raider, you need to have that fire. He definitely brings that. But it was all hope. We gave this guy 10 years, $100 million. I want people to understand that the head coach's salary of $100 million doesn't interfere with the player salary of things like Khalil Mack's salary, things like that. So people are talking about, well, if they didn't pay John Gruden so much, they could have kept Khalil Mack. No, their salaries don't intertwine like that. But still, a commitment for 10 years for $100 million, that's a huge commitment. So this guy comes in. Immediately when he comes in, he has nothing positive. I mean, he has positive to say, but Khalil Mack is looking to get signed, and I get it. It's going to cost a lot of money, but John Gruden's not even having conversations at this point with Khalil Mack. He's not even talking with Khalil Mack. He's been there for the whole summer. Him and Khalil Mack haven't even had a phone conversation. That's our best player. That's our cornerstone. You must understand that. Year goes into it. Year's getting ready to start. Offseason's over. Aaron Donald signs this huge contract. Good for him. He deserves it. At that point, when Aaron Donald signs that contract, we pretty much know we're going to lose Khalil Mack. We don't have the money to match what Aaron Donald just got paid, and Khalil Mack is in the same tier, so he's going to get in line to get paid the exact same. Knew we didn't have the money, but still, wake up. The day we woke up, we found out that we got traded. Khalil Mack gets traded to the Chicago Bears. We get 2 first-round picks, this year, next year. Some people always seem to forget is we gave up a second-round pick. So because the Chicago Bears had such a good year this year, we have our regular pick in the top 10. We get the Bears pick, which is like now 24, I believe. It's 24th pick, somewhere in there. It's late 20s. But we had to give up our second. So really, we traded Khalil Mack away for a first-round pick next year, and then we just swapped, 6 positions from the first and the second round because of how good Khalil Mack made the Chicago Bears. What you understand is I get it's a business. I get the finances. I'm happy Khalil Mack got traded. The Raiders haven't had anybody good to rally around to support, say, that's my guy. We drafted Khalil Mack. That was our homebred. That was our guy. Khalil Mack was our guy. As fans, you have to understand. We're getting draft picks. Ooh, lots of players. For what? We can go out there and draft another sure first round Hall of Famer. We already had a Hall of Famer. We don't need to go out trying to draft another defense. In this year's draft, we're going to draft a D lineman. You know why? Because we got rid of Khalil Mack, who was a Hall of Famer. So really, we're just wasting time. So when that trade went down, to this day, I still don't like what that did. That man had more sacks in one season this season than the entire Raiders roster did over the course of the entire season. So that speaks for itself. I'm running out of time here, so quickly, we get rid of Amari Cooper. Again, why are we doing that? Man drops some balls. He's an elite route runner. He creates space. He is a deep threat. He is a yards after catch receiver. When he gets the ball, he is dangerous. And we traded him away too. So now Derek Carr just basically has a tight end to throw the ball to and nobody else. Marshawn Lynch just getting older. Don't have much of a run game anymore. O-line, Donald Penn is in his 55th year. I love the guy to death, but he's getting old. Our O-line, like I said, looking rusty. We have really no run game back there. Our secondary and our defense is still terrible. We trade away Khalil Mack. We have no receivers. And look how good Amari Cooper goes to the Cowboys. Look how good the Cowboys do. Look what Dak Prescott does. How he just took off with Amari Cooper. And here the Raiders are, we got 3 draft picks. No, we got 1 first-round draft pick in the first 10 picks, and these other 2 first-round picks we have are both in the 20s. Thanks a lot, Oakland. I appreciate it. I've dealt with enough the last 20 years. I've put up with enough with you guys for the last 20 years. Just give me something. And now we're going into next season. We don't even have a stadium. We're going to be crippling and hopping into Las Vegas 2 years from now with no team and no record. They're putting John Gruden on the billboard in Las Vegas because we don't have any stars to promote because we're too busy trading them away. I really hope John Gruden has a plan. I don't know what the plan is. We went out, we got Mike Mayock now, who's apparently our GM and draft specialist, which is great. We got 45,000 picks this year. Hopefully Mike Mayock can go out there. He can draft somebody, help us out and do something because we need help in so many. The secondary is completely beat up and torn down. We need help there. We need somebody in the Mike position to start calling plays to run our defense. We now have no D-line again. With 13 sacks in the season, whatever we had, it was terrible. No pressure on the quarterback, and our secondary isn't good enough to do it without any pressure. Our O-line is getting old. Our running backs, we got Dougie Fresh and Doug Martin in there, which is great. I love Jalen Richard. I'm a big fan of his. But Marshawn Lynch, like I said, once we leave Oakland, that man has Oakland tattooed across his chest. Once we leave Oakland, he's not coming with us. That's just the fact. That's the way it is. I hope John Gruden has a plan. He's getting very hard to defend, but me being a Raiders fan, I'm sticking by him. I'm trying to defend him, but some of the things that he chose to do this year were just undefensible. Nothing you can say. The Amari Cooper trade was just, you got a first-round pick for him, and people thought at the time that was a steal until they saw what a game plan around Amari Cooper can actually do, and you saw, oh my God, he is a first-round talent. We all know how good Khalil Mack is. If we get rid of Derek Carr, I'm not a huge Derek Carr fan. I would have taken Khalil Mack over Derek Carr. But if we get rid of Derek Carr and go ahead and draft somebody like Kyler Murray in this year's draft, I will be at my ends wits. I'll be looking for a new team. I can't do it. I get 27 years of this failure. I need something. Raiders, give me something. Again, I apologize if it feels like I babbled a lot. That was my first ever committed to unscripted. So I hope that that was enjoyable for you guys. Again, no notes there. That was me just kind of telling you exactly how I feel about my favorite professional sports organization. And in case you missed it, it's not very good. I don't have good feelings towards the Oakland Raiders. There's a lot of things that need to change. I hope they do change. This comes to the conclusion of my very first inaugural episode of Overly Committed. I cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in. If you made it all the way to the end, a special thank you to you. If there's things you guys want me to talk about, if there's questions that you have, things that I should change or ideas for the episode, reach out to me. Let me know. I want to hear from you guys. And if there's things that you don't agree with, well, then reach out to me. I want to debate. I want to be challenged. I want disagreement. That's what makes this so much fun. So thank you guys very much for joining me on this very first episode. I apologize for the time. I promise that I will cut it down next time. I actually had more things that I wanted to talk about, but as you get going, you get so long-winded, so committed to these subjects that you just start rambling. Thank you very, very much for joining me on this first episode. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Overly Committed. First episode is done. And Zach, we'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic day. Good vibes only.
And I'm still giving thanks. And I'm thankful cause I'm so fly, take them higher than they can go. This is fresh vision, tell them tune into my channel. They blend in, guess these niggas wearing camo. That's why these hoes skip you like Crambo. But me, I bring them to a standstill. Probably cause I go harder than the